What's up, players, guitar players? So, how do you prevent guitar player disease? What is guitar player disease? How do you build immunity to it? Well, if you want immunity from guitar player disease, you've come to the right place. Be sure to stay until the end because I'm going to recommend two great teachers out there on YouTube, guitar teachers, that will reinforce what I'm going to explain today on what is a good way to learn. And this is, so, guitar player disease is when your whole ability to take instructions or learn a lick from somebody else out there on YouTube is when they talk in terms, and always talk in terms, of guitar tab. Well, they'll teach a lick and they'll teach it in a way that's something like, okay, start with your third finger on the fourth string on the seventh fret. That's the first note of the lick. And then the second note of the lick is with your first finger on the fifth fret of the third string. So the first two notes of the lick are... That is what you want to avoid. You want to avoid people that teach you the guitar in that way. Why? Because all they are showing you is a lick. They are not showing you what key you're in, the context, the scale that you're using. Some may mention those things, but the emphasis is always on giving you the lick in tab, in guitar tab terminology. Okay? So, in order to build your immunity from this problem, and the reason you want to avoid it is because if you focus on learning licks and learning the guitar and learning how to improvise and all your rhythm chops and everything, if you approach that in the context of what I'm going to show you, then you'll become a better musician, and you'll be training your ear along the way, and you'll be able to more easily move things between different key changes. Like if you play a song in one key and then have to transpose it to another key and somebody's explaining that to you, or vice versa, it's just going to be a lot easier, especially if you're dealing with other musicians like keyboard players, horn players. They don't talk in terms of guitar tabs. Anyway, so the way you want to learn and think about music is you want to think about, like when you're talking about notes and licks and stuff, and even rhythm chops to a certain extent, you want to think in terms of the intervals within the scale you're playing in, or the chord that you're playing over. So if, for example, if I'm in the key of C, C major, turn off my echo pedal there. So if we're in the key of C major, the C major scale, there's 8 total notes in that scale, right? The first and the 8th note are C's, an octave apart. Okay, so if we drop 2 notes from that major scale, if we drop the 4th note, and if we drop the 7th note, if we take those 2 notes out, we have the pentatonic major, right? That's all we did, is we took the 7th and the 4th note out of the major scale. However, even though we took those out, we should still refer to the notes in our pentatonic major in terms of their intervals within the major scale or the major chord. So for example, if I have the major pentatonic is C, the 4th note of that scale, the 4th note of that scale is the 5th interval in the C major scale. Because again, if we play the C major scale, all the notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? That's the fifth. So look for people, and again, I'm going to recommend some people out there that have great videos for all skill levels. This is how I teach things, and I emphasize this. I'm not saying don't ever use tab. Tab is still good, and it's a good crutch. It's a good quick go-to to kind of see it on paper, but without having to read music. But you still want to have some knowledge of musical context. So, for example, now that you know that this is the fifth in the key of C major, I could say, well, there's this lick that starts on the fifth, and then it goes up to the one, it goes up to the C, which is the one, and then it hits and then it slides into the third. Now, notice how I'm describing how to play the lick. I'm talking in terms of the interval. We start with the 5-1 to the 3. Then I might say we go to the 2-1 to resolve it. To the 6, to the 1. See how I explained that lick? It wasn't, oh, you put your third finger on the 10th fret of the 5th string, and then you roll down to the 4th string on the 10th fret, and then you use the 9th fret on the 3rd. I mean, that's a terrible way to learn because you're not getting the musical context of how the lick's being put together. So start on the 5th, up to the 1, slide into the 3, and then a 2-1-6-1. You're going to learn faster. You're going to progress faster as a musician. And as I promised you here at the end of the video, I will link in the description 2 YouTube guys out there that I found, and I watch their videos. They have them for all skill levels. They have a lot of good stuff out there. The first guy, Troy Downward, I hope I'm saying that right. This guy's a shredder, man. He is a player. He's serious. But he does a good job of breaking down licks, and you can he tabs stuff out if you need that you can pay a fee for, but his YouTube videos are free. He breaks down the licks on the video, and he talks in terms of intervals. Okay, and not just guitar tab. He doesn't explain licks in terms of tab. He explains licks in terms of the interval within the key you're playing in. You need to know that stuff, and be able to converse in that terminology. The other guy's channel, it's called, I hope I'll link it in the description. I hope I'm remembering this right, but it's Alan Ferron Guitar. This guy is also a great player. I wouldn't call him a shredder like Troy Downward. He's more of a Americana, rhythm and blues, vintage type player, but really does a great job of explaining all the nuances within guitar playing, and really breaks things down in the proper context of how you want to be digesting this stuff in terms of being able to spell out the chords, arpeggios, knowing what the intervals are, and start listening to that with your ear. Thanks, guys. Hope you take this and run with it. Some things you can do to practice is just go watch some of those videos of those channels I recommended, and find stuff in their catalog of videos that appeals to you, and just start embracing that style of teaching, and try to avoid people out there that just talk in terms of guitar tab, because that in the long run, that's not going to serve you, and it's not going to help you grow faster as a musician. I believe in you guys. Good luck.